Okay, GM, how's everyone doing? We are live right now on Facebook and Twitter and Twitch and YouTube. Been doing this multi-stream thing, which is just making my life super complicated. But the goal here is just to sort of share my creative process every day, give me something to focus on, make sure that I'm doing the right things every day in terms of my art and my creative process. It is giving me a chance to share what I've been working on with my community, collectors in Web3, people who have supported me. And, truthfully, these are going to be, these are just streams of me working, go through the process. If you have questions, something you're curious about, I will stop what I'm doing. I'll run in, do a quick tutorial or explain why I did something a certain way or answer any questions that you have. So if you have any, just hit me in the chat. If you're on Twitter, Twitter is the one that I can't quite get like any kind of a chat feed going onto my screen, so I may miss it. I will try to check Twitter as much as I can, but truthfully, if you want to send me something quickly, just go over to YouTube or Twitch. I'm working on, getting all those URLs in here. I'm working on getting all my social media links and get this more interactive. I'm brand new to streaming, and this is sort of week one of doing this every day. Dive right in. 2 4-hour streams a day to make this all happen. And if you are a streamer or you have experience streaming, I love ideas, tips, tricks, things that I should pay attention to. All that stuff is like super helpful. So the typical process that I've been running for the last week has been, in the morning I've been working, so my AM stream is working in Blender, and in particular working on a single piece of art, which is a 6529 meme card. It's based on a real world location in Cathedral Rock, which is Sedona, Arizona, USA. And all of my actual work that I do is based on a real world location. And you'll kind of get it if you watch a bit of this to see it's like, get real data, bring it into 3D tools, recreate a scene, and then make something from it. That might be a landscape photo, it might be an animation, it might be something different like a meme card, but eventually it is slowly moving towards a fully interactive experience, likely in VR, likely in Unreal Engine, likely for some hardware that hasn't come out yet, because to make it work for the vision that I have, it has to be high quality. It's got to be a really great VR experience, and we're not there yet. So I am making a bet that we will get there, and that my technical skills will get there, and this idea will make sense. And in maybe 2 or 3 years from now, you'll look back at this stream and you'll remember the time that I said that this is going to happen. So in the meantime, we work our way towards it. We build the skills that I need. I'm not an expert in any of the software you're going to see me use. I am a lifelong learner, someone who's been very curious, who isn't afraid to kind of learn something new, put something out there. And if I have a technique or an idea of how to do it, I'll share it. But don't take my word as gospel, because I may not be doing it the most correct way. If you have experience, you're a professional in any of these tools, just please hit me up and say, hey, try this, try that, watch this tutorial, whatever you need to do. The current kind of trajectory or roadmap is mornings. We're going to do that, the meme card right now, which is usually something in Blender. Generally, I'm trying to produce something that I can mint and sell as an NFT. That is my morning plan. It's kind of what makes my money. It's my kind of, primary focus that I need to be working on. So for 4 hours, I will work on something in Web3, some type of render, maybe animated, may not be, maybe 3D landscape, but we're going to work in the morning on that. In the afternoon is a little bit of more playtime. It's the longer term vision stuff. It's typically an Unreal Engine 5 or Unreal Engine for Fortnite. I'm currently experimenting along with some of the previous streams. You can see it with actually bringing these entire worlds into Fortnite for a bunch of reasons that I won't go into a huge rant about, but I just think it's a huge opportunity. Lots of users, multi-platform, and the tools to make a Fortnite map or an island are based in Unreal Engine 5. And even though I'm not a Fortnite player, I've only played a couple games recently to kind of learn it, I just feel so confident that it is a great platform to kind of accelerate my vision, the middle vision of, hey, let's get an interactive kind of experience in these worlds before we get high fidelity VR. This is sort of a middle ground, and I really feel confident about Fortnite. So if you tuned in last week, these get really fun. Sometimes I'm playing Fortnite, I'm actually experiencing the maps, testing things, doing stuff in Unreal Engine, which can be taxing a little bit on my machine. So bear with me if you see it get choppy or the audio gets out of sync. It's usually that. Unfortunately, last stream I was starting over on that process using data from Cathedral, the tool, the location that I've been working on in Blender. And, like the problem is I had experimented with creating this 3D world in Fortnite using first data from a place called Patagonia in Argentina. And I did that because a friend of mine collaborating on an idea, trying to make like a 3D world in Patagonia, and we're still going to do that, but I realized that currently I'm putting all my effort into, this art that I created from Cathedral Rock here. I'm working on the morning on the meme card. I should probably focus my attention on the same real world location as I was doing in the morning. So I switch gears and I have a plan and a strategy to recreate an entire interactive Fortnite map from Cathedral Rock in Sedona. And unfortunately, the first part of that process, the slow part, this is Cathedral in Arizona right here, right? Cathedral Rock. And the art that I've been creating is from this location that I've visited it a couple times now and hung out to take a particular render or 3D landscape. Here's some references for what I'm working on. This is all the meme card stuff over here. There's some luminescence. There's some tributes to some artists that I really respect and look up to. There's some ideas here for some modeling. There's some underwater stuff that we were working on. There's some ideas around some scenes. And there's the bus. It's just like a bunch of stuff here that I've been doing. Tackle boxes, characters. So all this has kind of been my morning stream, primarily focused here. But if you look on this side, what you basically have is how we got here. So if I open this up, I'll just bring this out full screen here. Yeah, let's do this, and I'll take on a little tour while this is all running. So this is PureRef. So this is what I use for all my reference images, and you can kind of get a feel for it over here. So basically how I make these landscapes, and I almost want to add all this stuff here. This was a reference for a lake that I was doing. We'll put this up here. So I typically just try to kind of bring all these together in a way that sort of like makes sense logically, but also is easy for me to group. So I'll just sort of bring this together. So the way that I make these scenes, and I'll grab a couple more files and I'll show you, essentially how this gets done. This is another version of the bobber. Okay. So I've kind of said this in previous streams, but I've been pretty quiet about my process for a while because I've been learning, because I don't sort of have a bit of imposter syndrome. I haven't been a 3D artist for very long, but I am learning, and I do have, I think, a wide range of different skill sets that are very effective in what I do, and I think what I'm doing is pretty unique. So I really am trying to not have that same feeling of, hey, I can't share what I'm doing because maybe, it's not as professionally done as other people, or maybe it's, I'm a little bit afraid of the result. I mean, whatever it is, I'm trying to get better at it. And but I feel pretty confident now. I really do feel like I've got myself in a pretty good position where I can really start to share my process and hopefully inspire other people to try this. If you are interested, or if you ever want, to get my advice, or just sort of, walk through this process with me, I'm super happy to share. But let me show you, and I'll use this as sort of a cool little introduction, and then I'm actually downloading something in the background. I'm kind of stalling a little bit, but if it doesn't get downloaded in time, I'm gonna jump right in. So the first step that I take when I go to a location is I get like a ton of source information. So to give you an example, like obviously Google Earth is a huge one, just because it can help me kind of scout locations and can help me get like a bit of a perspective on what I want to shoot. So for example, if I screenshot this guy right here, this will go blank. I'll bring this into PureRef, and I'll put this over here and say, hey, this is like a cool scouting location. I also have in Google Earth, I have an area of interest identified for the area. So if you kind of look at this here, you can zoom it around so you kind of get the layout. This is the area of interest for Cathedral Rock. So I'll just grab a screenshot of this one and I'll drop it into the scene. And then I also go and, let's see, I get as much reference stuff as I can. So in this case, let me see what I've brought in. I have a height map, which is actually showing the height of the terrain. I've actually got this from LiDAR data that I had to purchase from the municipality of Sedona. This is the LiDAR file here, and then converted to an image. There's the height map, or there's the satellite image that I used. There's more height map information. Let's see what else we got. Some more raster information, some more stuff here. I also have some time lapses. So this is I think, I don't know if videos work on PureRef, but you can kind of see. These were a bunch of images that I took, and if you get into this one, you can see it on. Well, let me bring the screen over so you can kind of see. I have a video of this. I could just play it, but this will work, I think, just as well. So if you take a look at this on the right, maybe it's not going to go. You just have to trust me. I've got time lapse, which I shoot on location, and the reason I do it is because time lapses really are great for showing like how the light moves across the landscape, and it's really effective when you actually get into watching that light on sunrise and sunset, because when you are using 3D software, you can actually use different libraries to simulate where the sun is at the particular location you shot. And the end result is that if you look at my render, you can see that the sun is basically the same setup as my reference photo. I mean, the shadows are almost identical on these two images. And the reason for that is because I placed the sun at exactly where the sun was at the exact time that this photo was taken, on the exact day. And the 3D software can simulate really well how the light would bounce off that terrain. So it's really critical to see it, because you start to understand, like, well, how does that light move? What's the best composition? What's the best time of day? And when I ultimately bring these into Unreal Engine and start to do some more animation and time lapses, I want to be able to see that this is realistic, that this is not, unrealistic for the actual location. I also will sometimes do some photogrammetry. So in this case, I scanned a cactus. I don't know if this will load up on the side. Maybe not. I could open it in 3D software, but you can see it. This is the real cactus on the left on here. That's the real actual cactus from the photo, and this is the cactus from the render. Low resolution on this, so you can't really see the detail, but it's pretty close, and it has the exact same layout, pretty much, as this one. And the reason for that is because I actually did a photogrammetry scan. So I actually walked around this cactus. There's a video of me doing it. And I actually made sure that I had a full 3D scan of this cactus so that I could bring it into the render. So I look here and I find my videos. Okay, here's the time lapse. So I'll show you a few things. So this is the time lapse, right, that I captured on location. And you can see as you move this across, you can watch the light as it comes across the sky. So it's really, really cool and helpful because like even these are clouds going across. And having that data is super helpful when I go to create the render, as well as there's other stuff in here like you can see, because these are photos that I put together. You can see like some of the tree line, you can see the coloring of the trees. Like all this stuff will be really helpful when I actually recreate this full scene in 3D. Here is the actual location. So this is the puddle that I took this photo from on the left. So this is my reference photo. So there it is right there. That's this photo. And that's the inspiration for this particular scene. Here's me doing the LiDAR scanning of the cactus. So it actually snowed in Sedona around this time. And you can see I'm running around putting together, well, not just a LiDAR scan of the cactus, but in this case, this is a LiDAR scan of the actual puddle and the pond as well, which is useful for putting together the scene. Here is some LiDAR that I imported. So this is the actual LiDAR data from the municipality. It's, let's see, 1, 2, 3. It's like 987 million points. So what happens is a plane will fly over top of Cathedral at the area with basically a laser system on the side of it. And that laser system is shooting out lasers. Sounds crazy. Shooting out lasers onto the ground and measuring the time that it takes for the laser to leave the airplane and hit something on the ground. And when it does that, it can triangulate the distance between the plane and the actual point. And then it runs a bunch of math because it knows where the plane is, it knows where the point is, it knows how the distance, and it does a little Pythagorean triangle and essentially figures out the height of that location. Hugely intensive process. But the end result is you can actually recreate a landscape with this data. You just have to process it, bring it into tools that you can actually convert it to 3D. So this is the some of the source data for that. So I'm just going to bring that into the scene so you can kind of see it. And then I've typically used a program called World Crater. This is some of the LiDAR that I grabbed. This is a LiDAR map for the US. That's the satellite. This is called a splat map. This is essentially this height data translated. You can see satellite height and splat translated into basically contour lines, which are visually helpful for identifying like where certain parts of the scene are. So this is kind of like a riverbed. This, you can see like the river runs through here. You can see different lines. It just makes it a little easier to see it over some of the other ones. Up until, this is how LiDAR works, by the way. So this is how LiDAR works. The plane's literally going over top and it's doing all these scans, first return and last return. This is basically like the first thing it hits is the highest part of that particular laser. The last return is the ground. And then, run a bunch of math and you can eventually figure out the height of stuff in these tools. Okay, let's talk about World Crater, because seeing if I can get, this is kind of a fun journey. I'm going to just stick with this for a bit. I'm dreading dealing with the GIS stuff. So I think for me, this is kind of cool and helpful. So basically the process here that we're looking at is scouting. So this is Google Earth. Reference photos. So that's all these. So if you kind of do this in order, right? This is the order that I work. So basically I scout the location, which is what's going on over here. Then I go, actually this is kind of two because I'm looking for what data I have. Then I go on location and I actually take reference photos, which is what you're seeing over here. And then I go and I get all of the data that I need. So there's your LiDAR data. There's your satellite data. There's the height map, which is actually created from this. Then this goes over here to this. There's this map here. Bring that in. These are some of the early renders, so you can kind of get an idea. Oh, let's go back. So we're going on a journey, okay? So this is the early process. So from here, oh, I have a GIF file. Will that work? I don't know if this will work in here, but this is a GIF file of the time lapse. There's my dog, there's some files, some early stuff. There's the wireframe, which is going to go here. More reference photos. Okay. That's where I parked. It's a picture of me. This is more reference stuff. This is actually the reference. This is actually the real render. Okay, so you can kind of see. Put it kind of under here. I don't think the movie works, so I won't do that. LiDAR scan, LiDAR endpoint, world crater. Okay, so in the middle, I use this thing called the world crater, and I'm actually switched this because I hate this program with a passion, and I hate the development team. I don't normally. I've worked in software and I've worked in product management, so I'm usually pretty sympathetic to this kind of thing. But what happened was these guys made this software based on, I think, Unity, like an actual video game engine, and they made a decision to redo it, and that's fine, like nothing wrong with that. But the amount of like flip-flopping that this team did with the user interface of this program, every version of the program, like the whole UX has changed. And some versions support, certain features, and then there's a beta version that doesn't support it. And it's like, it's impossible to actually confidently use the software and know that it's actually going to stay steady and not change. So I got a little upset. And actually got kicked out of their Discord. So I was just frustrated with how they did it. I was relying on this tool the entire way. So luckily, I came across something called Gaia, which is a node-based tool, and I love Gaia so much. It's hopefully these guys keep it up to date and keep developing it, but I really do enjoy it, and I hope. I just really hope that it sticks around. It's node-based. We may get into it on the stream today, just because let me just I'm going to just turn these into a bit of a grid, because this is technically all we'll call this all reference photos. I don't know if I can get it better. Sometimes I wish there was just like an easy system. I wonder if you can, let's go back. Images, arrange, optimal. Oh, that's cool. Okay, that'll do the trick. It would have been nice if I could have. That's not very optimal. Yeah, I was kind of looking for like, hey, put this in a different shape. But anyway, you kind of get the basic idea of this. So you have your reference images here. You have all of your input data, and for fun, we can kind of put this all together. Okay, so this is all the input data that we use, and then this is everything that happens in World Crater. So we're adding like actually bringing in this terrain, and we're creating like a 3D model with topology and a bunch of erosion and a bunch of cool stuff, and then we're exporting that into Blender, which is this, and then we have a bunch of these files which were like early versions that I did that weren't exactly what I wanted. Seeing if I have any more early versions. Yeah, like this one. It's kind of similar. You can just kind of see the progression. This was a little Ruben Wu tribute that I was working on, which is going to come back, by the way, in this meme card when you see it. Yeah, it's something like that. So, basically you have basically this is that process. References, gather a ton of GIS data, remote sensing data, bring it into a tool like World Crater or Gaia, which is meant to basically add a bunch of resolution and details and handle GIS data in terms of converting it to terrain. And then for me, bringing into Blender and doing like tons of stuff, including, lighting and, modeling, and it's kind of limitless what I do in this area. And then the ultimate output is this, so the ultimate output is this file right here. I'll move this out of the way, because this is the kind of the primary, this is the original art that I created from this piece. And then from there, I'm now going into reference mode again. So now I'm pulling in like a ton of stuff, which is ultimately going to create the derivative product, the meme card from this piece. So this is the current best version that I have. I haven't rendered this in 3 days, so this is improved. This is improved quite a bit. But let me just see if I have it. Yeah, like this is the current version. Okay, so this is not the current version. This is maybe 3 or 4 days ago, but just to get an idea, all of this here is leading to this. And then there's a bunch of extra versions of this thing that I haven't rendered yet. But the concept is basically here was the original mock-up that I did as a concept, which I'll put here. And then we're working towards this. So like what you're getting with me, which is like a crazy bit of my brain right there, that's kind of how it works, is you're getting like a location on this planet that I will go to physically. So I travel there, and in this channel, YouTube, we're on Twitch, always be streaming, obviously. Twitter is kind of where I engage in social media. I'll put a lot of stories and reels and stuff on Instagram. We'll figure out TikTok. But YouTube, I'll also be trying to do a better job of documenting and sharing like my experience when I go to these locations, because that's a huge part of it. All this reference stuff, the shots, the photogrammetry, the LiDAR scans, that happens on location, and I'm usually flying or in an RV and traveling. So I will try to document that as much as I can. And then, you get this sort of, hey, I'm out in the field, I'm getting all this information, and then I'm coming back here and I'm actually doing all the technical work to bring it all into the software, and then the artistic work to turn it into art that I want to sell. So that's, in a summary, what this stream will be, or what this channel will be. I have a background in photography and video. I've done some product reviews. I've done some vlogging, some influencer stuff, some travel stuff. This sort of all brings it together to me. It's kind of like the culmination of everything that I've done in my career. And this is, I can't tell you how all in I am on this. So wherever I am today, however good I am at this, whatever limitations I have, like I am absolutely 100% committed to this process. And like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my career, my life, is recreate these worlds, these real locations, these places that are so iconic, so incredible to see in person, recreate them in multiple different forms in 3D, in digital. Obviously, going to these locations is the best opportunity, but realistically, there's 7 billion people on Earth. Not everyone gets to go to, Sedona in Arizona, or Moraine Lake in Canada, or Mount Fuji, or Haceta Head Lighthouse in Oregon, or any of these locations. And I want to create experiences and art that immerse people in those locations in the second best way after being there in real life. Maybe one day better than real life because of the cool stuff we can do. But that's what this channel is about. If you kind of love that idea or interested, come along, hang out, ask questions. I'll stream twice a day, every day, Monday through Friday. Saturday's a summary stream, so 2 hours of just kind of summing up the week, and then Sunday's off. And we're going to do this just like a full-time job, in the grind every single day, as I continue to improve this process and produce stuff that I'm very proud of. Okay, rant over. Did I burn enough time for my download? 3 minutes. Okay, almost did it. At least I can talk a bit. Okay, so where we are in the roadmap of what you just saw is we have gone from the left to the right. But the problem is when we get down here, like if we want to say this is a path, I wish I could kind of draw on here. Maybe that's something I can look into. If this path, if this is the 3D render is the marquee, like this is a milestone. Okay, because when I can do a 3D render like that, I have gone a long way with this particular location. Okay. Because to do this, I can't just sort of fake it. I have to have all of this data. I have to have this process. I have to bring it all in. And you'll see the reason is because when I want to do something like this, having that data and having the scene properly set up makes this practical and reasonable. If this download is slower, I will show you. But the point is that everything I want to do from here. So from this is like almost considered like a little detour. This is going to turn into an interactive, like a time lapse, moving camera, something that feels more alive. And if you move a camera in a 3D scene, you better have the scene kind of set up and correct, or else the perspective is going to get off. Basically the scene is going to fall apart. Bug McCormick on YouTube. Hey, how you doing? I appreciate you joining. Thank you for listening to my rant. I'm just buying a few seconds until some software downloads. But if you have questions, comments, anything, hit me up, because these are long streams, and anything that will kind of break up the stream is super helpful. So thanks for joining, Bug. If you haven't already, I think if you're on YouTube, if you don't mind subscribing to my channel, I'll be uploading a lot more stuff. And if you're Twitch, you can go hit me up there. Social media, Twitter, Facebook, well, basically Twitter and Instagram, I think is in my YouTube comments. Hit me up with any questions. I'm just going to keep going. My rant was just to say that once you get into this more interactive stuff, you'll understand why all this needs to be done and done properly. So where we're currently at is I took a couple shortcuts with this scene, and I did it because I didn't have a choice. My biggest technical limitation in this process is my understanding of GIS software and systems. I have a very basic knowledge, but no, I don't. It's hard for me to see, but I just started out this week, and I usually see like sometimes, up to 4 or 5 people will join on YouTube. Sometimes Twitch, I've had a couple raids where 20 plus people will come in, but generally speaking, I'm streaming to a couple people max at any given time. And people, sometimes engage on these channels and ask questions. Sometimes they don't, but that's okay. The goal for me is this is more about my process and my holding myself accountable. And plus having clips and things I can clip and send out and put it on social media. So I got no problem streaming to nobody or a few people. I appreciate the subscription, and hang out for as long as you want, but I understand it's a long stream. Go for 4 hours. We're 40 minutes in. Okay, so the reason why I have to kind of go back to the drawing board on this scene is this is the meme card that I was talking about. And if you look at the scene, there was this huge gap here. So if you ignore this blob and you look at this scene, here we go over here, we have let's go over this way. What am I using for streaming, or what am I using for software? Because streaming side, I'm brand new, and I'm good luck. If you know anything about streaming, hit me up, because I'm clueless. But if you see this is reasonably good terrain. It's not perfect. There's a lot of limitations of, this is Blender. So like I use QGIS is all of the technical stuff I use for the real world data. Then I use Gaia, which is like a procedural landscape tool to adjust the terrain. Blender is what I do all of my lighting, rendering in, sometimes animation, not always. In this case, this is going to be a still render. And then I go over to Unreal Engine for the more interactive stuff, and now Fortnite, which is, Unreal Engine for Fortnite, and there's other streams. I don't know if I've streamed on YouTube yet, but I have full streams of me playing like a Fortnite world that's based on these locations. How am I so good at it? I don't think I'm good at it. I certainly feel like I'm not, that I struggle. If you watch these streams, you'll watch me bang my head against the wall on a lot of stupid things. I don't know. I became obsessed during COVID, so 2020. I started with the donut tutorial on YouTube, and I've said this a few times on the stream, but I'll say it again. On this scene, this is the original. This is the first thing that I ever modeled in Blender, was this donut, which is like kind of common for a lot of people. It took me about a week to learn it. This is the night mode, so the lighting is not the best, but this is the donut sitting here in Blender that I first modeled, and now I actually have it brought into this 3D scene. So yeah, just plugging away, man. Keep learning every day, and just do this. Just work, learn, watch tutorials, read documentation, practice, and hopefully, one day I'll be able to look back and laugh at how bad I was at this point. But yeah, this is the terrain, and this is pretty high quality. This comes from LiDAR, but if you look over here, there is this like big gap. And what I think happened is the LiDAR cut off around this location, and this data was not LiDAR data. And you can see by the resolution, it's really kind of just, there's nothing here. So unfortunately, I didn't have the location that I actually shot this at, which is, if you look at the photo, if you look at these photos, is right here. So I had to kind of take a shortcut. I had to model out this little pond area up here. I had to place a camera. I had to create the pond. I had to kind of like set this up. Oh yeah, no worries. I appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by, and swing by anytime. But I appreciate you. See a Bug McCormick. What a great name. I love it. Thanks, Bug. Sweet to have you here. Yeah, so, again, just to kind of continue, I had to kind of fake it up here, and I don't like doing that, but I had to get this render done. So now what I'm actually doing is, have a good one, man. What I'm actually doing is trying to fill this gap in. So I'm trying to create a new environment that is obviously exactly the same as this, except it's going to be larger, so it's going to have more of the terrain. And that's going to allow me to remodel this scene where I actually have the full layout, and also clip it to a circle, which is part of the kind of creative process. I'll show you if I can in one of the tools, but I really love, well, actually I can show you right now. I've done this previously, and I can open up some files, but I've always had this idea of tiny worlds, like little snow globes of these locations. And I've learned through 3D modeling that actually circles, spheres of pretty much any location, help with like clipping and cutoff, and just generally they look better. So I've been wanting to convert all of my scenes to these like beautiful kind of 3D circular worlds. And to do that, you need extra data. So if you look at this file here, not this one, this is the current file that I was using. So you can see here, this is that bad area that I don't have any data from. And there's some weird stuff going on here, but I want to create a cutout of this. But when I do it, I cut off too much of the terrain. So I really want more data to work with. And this is the current version. It's not bad, but you can see we really lose a lot of fidelity on this side. So what I'm trying to do right now is bring in that data and see if I can get a larger canvas essentially to work on. And, believe it or not, this same scene that you're looking at in Blender has enough detail that when I properly texture it and import it at scale into Unreal Engine, like, you'll be able to hike Cathedral Rock in Unreal Engine like a video game, and it's real terrain. And I'm going to bring in the actual hiking paths, and I got a whole plan for how to do this. But yeah, that's where we're at. And it's the worst part of the process. It sucks. I made the decision to do it at the end of last week when I did the review video. And I'm actually at a technical, like I'm at a kind of a crappy technical roadblock, which sucks when you stream because people have to kind of watch me troubleshoot, but it is what it is. It's all we can really do. We just have to solve the problem. So that's what we're doing today. Also, little side note, if anyone joins that knows streaming, I am using OBS, which I finally used. Everyone made fun of me because I was using like Twitch Studio when I started. I'm also using Restream to do the multi-stream. I've been looking at Streamlabs, which seems like people kind of hate. It sounds like because they built on open source software. I mean, the truth is, like, I kind of get the idea of what they did, and I don't mind technically difficult software if it's not QGIS, but there's some stuff that you can do in there that would make my life a lot easier. So I've actually probably next stream, I'm going to try to do a Streamlabs stream and see if it's any better than the current setup. So if you have experience with this and you're like, can tell me why to use Streamlab over OBS or whatever, that would be helpful as well. Okay, cool. So what we're doing is we're trying to properly merge two files in QGIS, and QGIS is the worst software ever made. No doubt, the worst ever made. It is GIS software, which is like the nerdiest and technically complicated of all software, and this sucks. People in GIS probably tell you like, oh, it's not as bad as Blank or ArcGIS or Esri or whatever the tools that people use these days. I hate this software, and if I could ever replace it, I will. I've had some help from some people on this, and I wish I could just hand this off, but part of my process is like I bring in data from multiple places, and it's like you got to know how to manipulate it and work with it, or else you're just sort of going to get stuck. So I'm installing the latest version. I was pretty far behind, and because I was running into an error message and some issues when I was trying to combine two files, and I don't know yet whether that is to do with this particular software I was using, something I'm doing wrong, whether I need to go to command line and start using Python, which I don't want to do. But yeah, I definitely, but I actually definitely, well, we're going to have to solve it one way or the other. I'm just going to take a peek at my, let me just see. Voicemail. Yeah, I'm just taking a peek at my Twitter stream. And I want to see. It's Twitter's like the only stream where I can't see comments. And usually there's not, just because Twitter is not particularly awesome with sharing out live streams. Yeah, it doesn't look like, I mean, I don't know. It doesn't look like it's going. Oh, no, it is. Daily Live. Okay. So the name didn't change. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, that's cool. I just made sure there wasn't somebody commenting on there that I couldn't respond to. We'll figure it all out. Just like previous person asked, like, how do you get good at this? Just dive in and look bad, look embarrassed. I mean, if you see the first streams are hilarious, like the audio, you can't hear it. I'm using a webcam. It's dark. I mean, like nothing worked. Like I was on mute half the time. So, people may join and be like, what is this guy doing? He doesn't know what he's doing. But I can say that I've improved a lot. So if you fast forward a couple years or a couple months, maybe I'll be actually pretty good at this. All right. Just waiting to see if that software like what happened to it. Oh, I hate QGIS. Is that the version? 3.32? 3.22. So what just happened to my installer? Like, am I imagining that? Did I just have that installed? Was I not in the middle of installing this and did I just forget about it? Is that what happened? Okay, it's here. Okay, so it did install. I don't know. Blame Windows search. I didn't see it when I searched. I saw 3.22. But this is the latest one. Lima. Guarantee this is going to be a disaster. Okay. Welcome to the beautiful world of QGIS. What a beautiful and amazing and welcoming launch screen. QGIS for peace. Great. Thank you. You probably, it's so bad. You guys can struggle through this with me. I'm going to do this from scratch because I'm learning, and this recent file that I was working on was, let's see what happens when I open it. We can just remove unavailable. Okay. Yeah, because I do want this. So let's walk through what I have here, okay? So I have two files that are actual terrain data from the Japanese Space Agency. Do not ask. Somewhere in this scene is Sedona Cathedral Rock. Where is it? Well, I have this file, okay, right here. And this file is the actual high-res LiDAR data that I paid for. Can you see where it is? It's all the way up here, right? So if I hit zoom to layer, this is it. And the beautiful thing about, GIS software and QGIS, in general, is it's basically built on top of like Python libraries. And I'm sure like I'm being a little harsh, but it seems to me to be oddly extra difficult to use. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is I want to create an area of interest, AOI, that incorporates both the low-res crappy data from the Japanese Space Agency, which is better than what the average data is that I could find. It's actually not bad. It's just not what you really need to do what I'm doing, with the good data from Arizona, from the municipality. And by combining it, we are going to have a mosaic that is basically high-res data, low-res data, merged together, beautifully looking, in one area of interest. And to do that, there's a bunch of stuff that you have to do. And, I have enough understanding of this to be dangerous, but not enough to actually be effective, which is kind of the story of my life. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this one because it's a duplicate. And I'm going to show you the process. So a couple things that I know work is merging. So when you have two files, you have essentially, not to get too technical here, but every pixel on this file represents a height. And the brighter that pixel is, the higher the height is, the higher the elevation, and the darker the pixel is, the lower the elevation. And this particular file, well, this one on here on the right, is mapping to 2,400 meters is what I think it was, or what I thought it was, 2,400 meters at the peak to 1,300 meters at the lowest. And then this one is mapping to 2,500 meters at the highest, all the way down to 602 meters at the lowest. So the reason why they look different is because they have different ranges. I don't know if that's logical or that makes sense, but what you need to do is you need to take both of these files, you need to go into raster, and you need to merge them. And of course, it doesn't recognize that you selected the two because it's QGIS, and you have to go back in and pick the two that you want and then you can go into your settings, and you don't really need to change anything here. It's running this console command. So this is where things are going to get like technical if I run into this problem. It's using GDAL, which is a Python library for GIS, and it's basically running GDAL merge.bat, and it's putting a bunch of little variables or flags in, giving the location, which is temporary file, output file, and this must be the input files, the location, I guess, of the input files. So it's basically telling, like, take these two files, run gdal.merge or -merge, use these particular settings, and create. So it's basically UX, user interface, UI, on top of Python code. Okay. The option that we care about is this temporary file. In this case, we can just save it to a temporary file is fine. And we hit run and we close. And what do we get? We get a merged file. Okay. So now we can get rid of these two. We just can hide them because now we have this file, which looks very similar to the first, except you can see there is no line between them. It is a perfect gradient between the lowest part of the map and the highest part of the map. That's good. Okay. The next thing we have to do is we are going to want to merge this file, put this one on top of this, okay, this file with that file. So now notice again, they don't match, right? Because if you look at the data, this is going from 1205 to 1500, whereas this is going from 602 to 2587. So what we have to figure out now is how to normalize these two files. And just for fun, I'll try it, but this is the error that I was getting is, I thought maybe, like just maybe, this software would be able to figure it all out on its own and merge this with this. And I found out that's not possible. And the first problem that I found out yesterday was that the coordinate system was different. So this is the coordinate reference system, CRS, and coming from a non-GIS person, take this for a grain of salt, but this is basically how you project a flat image, right? A flat two-dimensional image on a three-dimensional surface, which is the Earth. And there are different reference systems that are used, and I'm sure there's all sorts of craziness we could get into of why and how that all works. But the key is you have to use the same reference system with files, or else this tool, QGIS or GDAL, is going to be like, think that the files are in different locations. And even though it displays them on here, because I think logically, this is how I think through problems too, by the way. I mean, I just don't normally talk out loud. But my understanding would be QGIS, people call it QGIS. I will never call it QGIS. QGIS can understand the coordinate reference system and project them on the map. Like it can basically auto fix that, right? It can auto handle it. But when you tell GDAL to convert two files and you don't sort of explain it to it what it's doing, it will just assume them to be the same coordinate system, and it'll try to merge two files that are like on opposite sides of the Earth, which results in a massive file, which will use a given error message, this is what I learned yesterday. So the first thing we have to look at is the coordinate system. So this coordinate system is EPSG 26912 12N. And let's double check this one, because I may have actually fixed this already. Yeah, different, right? So 432684. So I'll show you just so I can kind of recreate my issue in case I have to send this to someone, by the way, to help me. I can be like, watch the video, tell me what I'm doing wrong. Okay, let's try to merge again, right? So now we want to merge our merged file, the one we just merged, with this file, which is the high res. I could name them better. And we don't need to change any settings. We can just go back and say, like, let's rock, let's run. This is what we get. We get, if you look closely, it basically says the file, we don't have enough file space on our hard drive. And that's because it's trying to create a massive file from these. Okay, so we can reproject one of them. So I think what we do is we want to reproject this file I mean, I actually don't know if it matters which one we reproject, but we'll reproject this file to this or this file to the other one. Actually, let's go this file to the, this seems more common. Okay, let's try this one. So we're going to reproject this one to 4326. Okay. So we pick this file, we go back up to raster, and there is somewhere in here, projection, warp, reproject. Okay, so we're going to grab input layer here. Source CRS is this one. Target CRS is this one. And resampling methods and all this stuff, I have no idea. Let me just double check that. So 6.2, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Oh, see, this is, again, QGIS. See what I just did? I just scrolled my mouse over this without paying attention, and it basically changed the setting. Let's just double check this again. 26912. Okay. Yeah, you could say that. Zine. Generaliste. Is that, what language is that? Is this French? Generaliste artiste? Yeah, I would say that. If I had to describe, maybe what I do is more environmental art, 3D art, because I usually am more focused on environments and design, lighting scenes, outdoor scenes mostly, than I am on like 3D modeling or animation. But I think I have a minimal level of understanding of all of them. If you've heard my rants before, I'm fairly new to this, like 2.5 years in, 3 years in, something like that. And I've just sort of learned on my own from YouTube videos and trial and error and practicing and all that stuff. So I'm definitely not an expert in any of these fields or any of these areas. No. It's all good. I can understand. Are you French Canadian or French? That's only Canadian would ask that question. But yeah, no problem at all. I understood you perfectly, just the way it was written. I could see it was probably French. I don't speak French, so don't ask. But yeah, I would say I'm pretty much a generalist. French France. What do you guys think of the Quebec French? What's your opinion on the Quebec French? Yeah, so, but what I specialize in, if I could maybe describe my work, is I specialize in recreating real world locations in 3D tools using scientific data. That's basically what I do. Once I do that, I can create all sorts of fun stuff, including everything from, renders like that look like landscape photos, which is what I worked on right here. So this is a 3D render of the landscape that we're currently working on in Sedona, Arizona, in the USA, Southwest USA, to kind of cooler like animations and scenes, which is this is the beginning of one I'm working on, all the way into like interactive video game experiences that I've been working on in Unreal Engine and Fortnite. And this stream is that process. It's just like, it's going to be every day me working on some part of it and sharing my work. So it's not like a tutorial stream. It's like, I don't even know what it is. I don't know. It's unique. It's just me basically clocking into work every day. I don't have a job. I don't have a boss. I don't have a schedule. I used to. I'm full-time artist now. So I'm the boss. I'm the schedule. So now, after a year of doing this and, success and doing well, but also being a little bit more artistic about my creative process, just being a little bit more loose, let's call it. That's maybe a more kind way to say it. I kind of decided to get back to business, which is like what I'm really good at, which is like having a schedule, plan, still being creative, still working hard, still, just putting, creative ideas on canvas, but having a plan when I come to work every day. So that's what this is. Let me just do this reprojection here, and I'll just talk through what I'm doing. If you have questions about anything related to photography, videography, 3D rendering, GIS data, game development, you ask, and if I don't know the answer, which I may not, I will find somebody that knows more than me in those areas to help out. Okay, So I'm just trying to merge these two files, but I need to reproject, and just to remind myself, I need to reproject from 26912 to 4326. So we're going to go raster. We're going to go projection, warp, reproject. We're going to pick this file. I'll actually remembered it. Source CRS is this one. We're going to project to this one. We're not going to change any settings. And we're going to hit run and see if this thing works. It might have. It might have. Okay. Cool. We have something, but there's also something that kind of went a little weird. So I don't understand this part. I'll admit it. Reprojecting the location also reprojected the height, and I don't know why it did that. I could try that again and just see if there was something I was missing. You know, maybe it's the reprojection method. Maybe it's something else. Maybe there needs to be a target. I don't know, but that just sort of causes me a little bit of strain to wonder why that did that. But the good news is we now have two files. Yeah, that's pretty close. That's pretty close. Yeah, I recreate environments from real world locations, which include photos. I was saying before, Kay, that I went to this location in Arizona. This is it in Google Earth. So if we zoom out, okay, we're going to go from France. Okay, we're going to go from France. You don't have to tell me where you live in France, but here's France, right? We go all the way across the pond. We go to USA, and over here in this corner is Arizona. And if we scroll all the way in on Google Earth, we see this little square, and this is the area that I'm working on, and it's called the Cathedral Rock in Sedona. And if we scroll over here, you can see that there's this little mound right down here. And if we take a peek at it and we scroll in, there's this like little indent. You can see it here. And there's these kind of blobs, and these blobs are actually cactus patches, believe it or not. And this is literally where I went to physically to capture data to start to recreate the scene. And if you look over here, you can see that's the actual pond. So these two things right here are this, exactly this over here. Number one, number two, I have created a 3D scan of this cactus, which you'll see in the actual final render. I can bring that up as a file. I take a bunch of photos and time lapses, and I just do a bunch of scanning. And then I go and I get, we call remote sensing data. So data that's collected remotely from either airplanes, helicopters, drones, satellites from space. This is LiDAR data, which helps me create a height map, which, you know, basically you can go in this order. But essentially this height map is something you can use to actually, we call it displaced terrain. So basically the whiter the pixels are, the higher the elevation. So if you look at this part here translates to this. This little part here in the photo translates to this and this. And you can bring this into 3D tools and actually create something that looks like a 3D scene. Import all this into Blender, which is what you get, this like nice little terrain here that I'm working in. And then these were some of my early renders, just like learning and figuring it out. You can see here, this is getting closer. This was the actual terrain that I modeled in Blender. And then this was the final result. After all that work, this was the render that I created, which is technically it's a 3D rendered photo. It's a render of a landscape. So just like a landscape photo in Blender. And now I'm actually bringing a bunch of reference photos in to create another piece of art with the same scene in the background. And then the next part, which we're kind of working on now, is actually bringing that into Unreal Engine and making it fully interactive and be able to walk around and do some cool stuff. But I'm at a bit of a problem because I'm trying to get this data that I need properly imported, and I'm using the worst software in the world. So you're kind of coming in at the worst possible part of the stream. So if you have any questions or ways to distract me from this thing that I'm doing, I'm super happy to do it. Okay, cool. So new one reprojected. Old one sitting behind. Perfect. AOI. So let's see. Oh, let's bring the AOI above. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm happy to finally start to share my process with this stuff. It's something that I've been a little afraid to share before, but I'm learning and trying to share it with as many people as possible in case they have questions or want help and learn this or just want to watch and see what I'm doing. So we're doing this every day, twice a day. Morning sessions more like focused on like technical work I have to do for the actual art I'm creating, and evening is going to be normally more fun. This stream is supposed to be more fun, but I really am just stuck on a technical issue I have to fix before I go any further. Okay, so what we're trying to do now, and I'm going to just experiment, is I want to see if these two now can be merged together. So this is where I ran into an error last time, and I'm pretty confident it's not going to work, but I have a hope that maybe my version of QGIS was old and it just didn't have the right modules or whatever the heck it needed to do it. So we want to try to merged and reprojected together. They do have the same coordinate system, which is good. Parameters shouldn't matter. And we're just going to see what error message we get. Oh my God, it worked. Okay, it worked, but it didn't. Baby steps. Okay, so what happened here is we merged the files, but two things look like they happened, unfortunately. Number one is the file that got merged on top is not the same. It's not the correct height, like elevation, because you can see that it's super gray. And I can fix this pretty easily by just changing the upper and lower bounds. And I actually have a file that I manually had to do this because I was looking for like solutions to this problem. And I couldn't find any other than just like manually remapping it. I never know how detailed to go in my explanations. This freeze. We frozen here. Testing. Are we frozen on the stream? My screen is frozen on OBS. Maybe it was just Notion. Oh, wow. It's a little odd that Notion would take up so much. Hopefully that comes back. Let me know if you're watching, if that... That's okay. It's really technically complicated, so don't feel bad if you don't understand it. Just if you have anything specific you were curious about, I can go into it. But high res to low, well, like if it was just a photo, you could use Photoshop, right? You could, adjust the resolution of a photo and match it. But these files are not photos. They're called geotiffs. And so how technical do you want me to get? Like, okay, a typical photo that you look at, any image that you look at on your phone or computer is basically a combination of red, green, and blue pixels. Okay, so like if you ever looked at color television really close, the old school ones, you can see the little red and the green and the blue. And because if you add red, green, and blue together, it makes white. And if you make no red, green, and blue, so 0, it makes black. And different combinations of red, green, and blue make a color. This is we call RGB. So, you combine two different colors together. Red and blue, for example, you get purple. And the way that works on most screens is like an 8-bit, they call it. An 8-bit file is like it's basically 255 different values. So you have 0 being black and 255 being bright white, and anything in between there is the value, the luminance we call it. So how bright the pixel is. And then you have brightness for red, brightness for blue, and a brightness for green. And if you go into like Photoshop or any 3D software and you do like, you grab any kind of a color, you can actually see this. So if you go to RGB, this has a value of, they've converted this from in 255 to 0 to 1, but it has a red value, a green value, and a blue value. If you bring them all to 1, it gets white. Bring them all to 0, it's black. You bring, red and blue together, it's purple. You bring red and green together, it's yellow. So that's how that works. Now with GeoTIFFs, there's two things that are special about GeoTIFF. One is that it's spatially, referenced. So a GeoTIFF embedded in the file knows where it is in the world. So it knows that it's in France or in Sedona, and it then can project that image onto a map and actually line them up correctly for where it is, because GeoTIFFs are typically used for data from images or satellites or different stuff from space or from airplanes, basically in the geography world. But the other thing that's special about it is it uses something called float 32, which is basically the fancy way of saying there's like so many millions of luminance values, like huge number, which means that you can map each luminance value to an individual height, like sometimes down to like the centimeter, right? So, hey, Spider Sniper, what's going on? I'm just in a technical explanation of how georeferenced PDFs or georeferenced images work. How's that for stream engagement? Would you say that that is going to help me get more followers on Twitch? Explaining how georeferenced images work? Oh, man. Okay, so anyway, the point is they're special kind of images. They're very different than normal. So what I'm doing is using GIS software to normalize these things. And I really wish I wasn't. Trust me, if I could do anything to avoid this, I'm blocked. I have to fix this problem or else I can't move forward. I had a breakthrough though, which is I did get these two merged. But what I want to do is actually see if I can normalize, first of all, these two together before I go any further. Let me just see if I have this correct. This is that correct. This is... Yeah, so the problem that I'm running into is... problem I'm running into is that the references between these two for the height is wrong. Okay, so what I want to try here is, okay, so I just need to rename some files so I don't get confused. So this is BG 99 reprojected. And then this is the it's basically the, we'll call it the radar 30 meter merged. Okay, because this is radar data. And actually, why don't we change this to LiDAR high res. Okay, radar 30 meter merged. Okay, AOI. Got it. Okay, so I want to figure out if I can get this LiDAR high res no, did I do that right? Did you join me in the morning or afternoon yesterday? I think you joined me I feel like you joined me while I was doing the same thing. It's like you probably think I'm just sitting in this stuff. I'm trying to combine a low resolution and high resolution height map so that I actually have enough data. Yeah. Okay, so in the morning I was working in Blender, right, doing this thing. And I've kind of pointed out that the problem I'm having is this particular terrain that I have has a bad spot in it. Like there was no data down here in the bottom. This is basically null. It's not correct height. So I need to not only find data for this to fill this in, but I also need to expand the perimeter of this file here to something like this, because if I want to bring this into like Unreal Engine or 3D software to make something interactive, I need more of the terrain around it to sort of make it fit as a map. And here's kind of the reason behind that is when you're working in these files, especially Fortnite, which is where this is going, you really need to convert these into like almost like islands. So if you see this here, this is the exact data into like we'll call it an island format, where you actually create like a flat part around the outside and then fade it in, because you can then, you know, put an ocean around this to kind of have like an end to the map, as opposed to like just running into nothing. You can make this look really cool in like a little tiny world model, which I've done before. Just generally, it really fits this terrain. It really works a lot better when it's in a circle. The problem is I don't have enough data, so you can see it kind of cuts off an important part of the map because I don't have enough, like, you know, it's like cropping a Photoshop file and you don't have enough room. You have to kind of add stuff around the outside. So I'm trying to do that, and it's just very technical, and I just don't have like the technical skill set in this area to be super quick at it. Sorry that this wasn't in full screen. I might have missed something there. But that's what I'm trying to do. So I'm kind of right here, and you can see this right here, this box is this. It's this tiny box. On the outside box is the low res data, and I'm trying to normalize it so it looks, you know, it's got to be the same, like, call it contrast, like the same level of black to white for this to work. And then I need to crop it to that, which will be the new area of interest, and then import it into this software. And if I solve this one little problem, then we're like off to the races, and then we'll probably be like actually have this terrain in Unreal Engine and walking around in it within an hour. But I can't yet solve this problem. So if you know any GIS people, go get them, tell them come to Twitch or come to YouTube and help me, because I'm gonna, yeah, this is annoying to do this. So let me just see if I can walk my way through this again. I need to reproject. I want to reproject this time into this. So yeah, give me a second. Projection warp. And I want to reproject this one, which is this, into this. And I want to run it. And now I should have a new one here. I want to call this radar 30 mil merged reprojected. Okay, so I'm just looking now what happened here. Okay, this might be better. So I'm bringing this up, and I'll explain in a second what I'm doing. Hopefully this works. God, this would be so nice if this worked. Okay. So this actual data here is the original. So this is a LiDAR. I think it was 1 meter. Source. Okay. We're going to find out. Okay. So, oh, did it move? Oh, don't tell me it moved. Shit. Oh, no. Okay, we're good. Phew. Okay, so double check this now. This is 26 269 12 269.12. They're the same. They're the same coordinate system, and they actually are not the same in terms of the gradient, but at least I think we're kind of getting a little closer. I'm going to just do a merge again just to see what happens. So merge. We're going to grab this LiDAR 1 meter, and we're going to grab this radar 30 meter merge reprojected and just run this. Oh, that didn't work. I don't know why that one's not going. That sucks. That sucks. I used to have a thing here. I'd like to see. I had hey, question. Hold on. Let me see if I can get this. Question for you. Like, would it be an awful thing for me to use Streamlab? So I use OBS, and I've been using Restream to do this multi-stream thing, and it looks like Streamlab can do the same thing, but it also has like a lot of kind of things that I would like to have, like my social media links and just a bunch of, like, I know I can do this stuff in OBS, but it would kind of like be a big shortcut. Am I making a massive mistake? Like, am I just going to regret using Streamlab, or is it like a reasonable option? That's my question for you. Okay. Close this. QGIS. Why? Yeah, like processing power, right? Like, how... So I've been thinking about this because I think it was you. It might have been someone else that was like complaining my audio was really bad the one day. And I found out what it was. It was because I was using NVIDIA's noise reduction module, which I tested, and it worked great. I have like a fan here, and it was someone else. So I have a fan, and the computer fan. It was actually really, really good. I don't know how bad the audio is. The audio is okay now, but it was huge improvement, and I was really liking it. But I think what happened was when I started to do more complex stuff on the computer, my GPU was like fighting for resources, so that the noise reduction basically got killed, and it got choppy, and the audio got really bad. So like what I'm trying to understand is what's actually, I wonder what's actually being used here to stream. Is it CPU? Is it GPU? Would the fact that I have Streamlab, like I have a pretty decent computer, is it gonna wreck, like, because I'm doing 3D stuff at the same time? Anyway, that's what I was trying to figure out. I'd like to keep OBS. It's just there's stuff that I want to do. Like, for example, to do this chat, I'm basically have to, like, you're seeing your chat on screen, but I'm using Restream's like consolidated chat, which is super cool, but it has no customization. So like I really struggle to have the font changed or to like customize this, make it look good. With Streamlab, it seems like you can do it off the shelf, and you have like all these different templates and settings, and like you can just make everything look better, quicker. So yeah, that's the compromise, right? It's like quality of stream, I guess, or processing power versus convenience. Damn. What shouldn't? Like, it shouldn't hit my GPU, is that what you're saying? Yeah. I don't know. That was weird. I mean, that's the only explanation I have, because someone was complaining about my audio, and then as soon as I turned that off, it fixed. And when I re-listened to the whole stream, it was like sometimes it was good, then it went bad. So I thought it would be using the GPU because it's NVIDIA. You're talking about you use the NVIDIA noise reducer in your streams? Okay, I'll turn it on right now and see if it works, but it was whatever was happening. Like, I'm looking at my stream stats and it says my CPU percentages. Oh, okay. So Streamlabs is good then, right? If you okay, look, Spider Sniper, if you're using Streamlabs, then I should use it. Like, I'm way more useless at this than anyone else. So yeah, okay, we're gonna switch it. I already paid for an account. I was gonna use it today, but to test, but I panicked at the last minute. Okay, I'm gonna use it tomorrow morning. I'm gonna try it. So let me know if there's any like tips or tricks or ideas or things with that. Well, no, I'm not useless, but I'm learning this stuff. So I'm just saying I'm pretty new to this. If you use it, then I feel more confident. I was worried that it was like only, rookie, only new people use it. Everyone else uses OBS. But I'd like to kind of, I like to make this look kind of good, to be honest, because sometimes I do boring stuff. So I have so many ideas. Spider Sniper, like I'll distract you from this for a second. So, like, see this thing? You can still hear me, right? You can't see my video. Let me bring the video back. Let's bring. I never can find the camera. Yay! Can you see me? Okay, so see this scene? This is a Mid-Journey scene with my artwork here and my artwork here, but it's actually a bigger, it's actually a widescreen file. So it goes to this side, and it goes to this side, and what I actually want to do at some point is I have like. I want to model this room in Blender, which actually would probably could do it in a couple hours on a stream. And I want to basically recreate this little kind of cove area in 3D software. And outside the window, I want to have one of my renders, like Cathedral, like the mountain ranges, Mount Fuji, Oregon coast. I want to have the view outside different and changing. So either I'd create like a video that would loop, or I would have different scenes and I just sort of like randomize it. And then I actually want to make, the rest of this room with some of my art up and kind of make like an actual 3D environment. And what I want to do is I want to create like a render of the camera moving around the scene, so that when I go to a break or go to the stream starts, this is actually like a movie playing with like kind of a walkthrough of all my art. And I want to bring my Twitter feed in, and just like I want to make it like a really cool interactive screen, because I'd like to be able to obviously, switch to that and stream without any just stream live when I'm not doing something. But I'd also like to incorporate some of those aspects into my stream to make it more fun. Because I'm not playing a game. Like if I was playing, I don't know, what are people playing? Fortnite, Warzone, whatever people are playing. Like I'm playing a video game. Man, it's awesome. I've watched video game streams. It's fun. It's joking, or you're chatting with people. Like, but to watch this, like, you got to be really into what I'm doing. So like, I'm gonna come up with a way. Yeah, image sidebar browse. Yeah, I'm going to find a way to make this stream exciting and fun while still being like technical and me working. And I just have to slowly figure it out. See how the two chats came up there? I don't even know how I did that. So we'll go back to screen share. But yeah, dude, I have some crazy ideas for this. Like, I even can imagine a little room where, like, there's a TV in one part of the room, and when the stream starts, the camera moves towards the stream into the video, and then it comes full screen, and then I'm streaming. Give me like 3 months, and this is gonna be like some crazy shit that I'm gonna do here. I gotta like slowly figure it out as I go. So also gotta figure out why my webcam is so dark. I feel like I would do that while I'm here, but I'm gonna probably break something. I think I already did. It's fun though. It's really, I gotta say, this whole thing has been really a fun experience. Yeah, it's been really fun to learn all this. I don't know if that looks a little better with the stream or not. Yeah, it's been really fun to learn this, and it's brand new to me. I've done YouTube before. I've done some social media stuff on Instagram. Never really done the TikTok thing though, but I've done all this 3D stuff, and I've made my own renders of promo videos, and like I've done so many things. This is just super cool because it's brand new to me. Like, I never would have thought 2 weeks ago that I would actually stream my work live for 8 hours a day. Here we are. Okay. Man, I would just love to get this part, because this gets so much fun after we get this one stupid part figured out. So I'm just gonna go grab something here. I need to take a break here soon too. GDAL merge to GeoTIFFs, different resolution. Hey, the other thing I would love to figure out, Streaming Sniper, is like the whole Twitch raid thing. Because like that happened to me, it was super cool, and I would like I don't have anybody here, but it would just like I'd like to drop in other people's streams, and I don't really understand how that all works, and I don't know what happens when I'm on multiple. Like, could I stream like well, what happens? Like, what happens if I do that? Because I'm not just on Twitch. I'm pushing this through other services. So what happens if I rate it? I do have Instagram. This is my Instagram. I don't have ArtStation. Why can't I chat in here? Oh, for God's sakes. Okay, give me a second. I guess I could just bring it up on screen, but this is my Instagram. Yeah, I just have to try it one day. I might just do a stream where I Ask Global on Twitter and IG. Huh, it's interesting. I got some restream is like, that's cool. That's a feature I don't know if they have on I don't know if that's a feature they have on Streamlab. I just posted a comment on Restream, and it looks like it commented on Twitch and on YouTube and on Facebook, which is really neat. I got to make sure that feature's there. Yeah. I'll maybe at the end of the stream I'll try it. I'm nervous. I don't really understand how it works. I still don't really understand if I'll host them on my stream. I just don't understand. Yeah, thank you, Kay. I really appreciate you coming by and dealing with this. I appreciate you. Yeah, like I don't know how it works. Like, how does this stream end up dropping in on someone else's stream? I'm such a boomer. GDAL merge.py. What am I using when I merge? Yeah, so we're using GDAL merge. Hey, what was that? Oh, look at that. I got a notification. The K subscribe, which means this is exciting. Look at this. I'm 1 follower away from my follower goal. I don't know what happens on Twitch. Okay, so I get that, Spider Sniper, but how does that work when I'm streaming to Instagram, or sorry, to Twitter and to YouTube? Like, if I raid them, am I going to see, is everyone going to see their stream on all platforms? I'll do it right now if you tell me how to do it. Like, but remember, I'm using OBS and I'm using Restream to actually stream out to multiple platforms. Yeah. It's like, I don't know what happens, to be really honest. I could try it, but I don't think typing that in Twitch is going to matter because the stream is not in Twitch. Maybe that's what I have to also figure out. I might just start streaming to Twitch during the week because this is kind of more technical, just going through, and then I'll do a big stream on YouTube and stuff on the weekends. But the raiding thing is cool. I would like to figure it out. I'll look it up, like how to raid during a multi-stream. I'm sure I could get it. QGIS, how to fix GeoTIFFs with different range scales for height. Oh. Well, I'm an idiot on this part, but I don't know if it solves it. I didn't realize the projection system also handles height. That was stupid. So the range of this one is 1522 to 12. This is from 2500. So what's weird is, like, I kind of just need to, I wonder if I can just clip this one first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to raster and I'm going to go to clip by extent. So I'm going to take this guy here and I'm going to clip it to, okay, well, let's close this. I don't know what this AOI is, but we're going to get rid of it. Remove layer. Okay. Raster. Conversion. No. What was it? Miscellaneous? No. What was it? Yeah. Clip raster by extent. Okay. Clip from AOI. I don't know if it was extent or if it was something else, but I think this is it. Yeah. And then don't do anything else. Just give me a clipped. Okay. Did it work? I feel like I reprojected the wrong file. Oops. Oops. It's this one. Okay, maybe I didn't. Miscellaneous. Clip by extent. No, radar, 30 meter reprojected. Clip by AOI. Oh. Does the AOI have... $43.26. The plot thickens. plot thickens. I mean, if there was a day I didn't have to go. Okay. Let's play a game called Let's Do This All Over Again. Let's do a new layer. Let's change the projection to this. Let's call this AOI 26912. Okay. It's a polygon. Okay. Let's turn on edit mode. Like, I hate the software so much. I just hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Let's make a polygon. Let's make a nice big polygon that makes sure we have enough data. How do I stop it again? Remember? Oh, you have to go. Like, okay, if you've ever used any software, just so you saw what happened to stop the polygon, right? From like you click, 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 okay, close it. We want to close it. It doesn't auto close because you closed the loop. No, not in QGIS. Not only does it not auto close, you can't hit return or right click. Nothing will complete the polygon unless you figure out that you have to move your mouse outside of the range of any other layer. So you have to find like a white spot on the map and then right click. And then you get this little thing, which is going to say like, you know, it wants an ID because, you know, this is how GIS software works. And now after all that, you get a beautiful file. And you're like, oh, it's not a square. Can I fix that? Well, you can, but there's some crazy there's some crazy command you have to find. I can't remember what it is to actually like find these corners and move them, and it sucks. But this is going to be good enough for now, just to see if we can get this working. It needs to be a square for this to actually be what I want. But let's try this. Okay, so we're going to take this now, and we're going to go conversion. No. Merge. No. Raster. Yeah, clip. Okay. So we're going to grab this. Now we're going to change the extent to this one, which now should work because it's the correct. It didn't work. The funny part is I've done this part before and it has worked. And I can't think of what I would be doing differently at this point, unless I did my mask layer. Maybe that was it. Yeah, that could make sense. I get that. Okay, I'm stupid. Well, I'm not stupid software, but it's just me not understanding. What the heck? Okay, that might have worked. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. So whatever AOI I did, maybe I didn't, I don't know, it was in edit mode or something. It did clip this. It did clip this. Okay. So I have now I have this file, and now I have this file. Why? Oh, put this one on top of this one. Oh my God. Okay. So the crazy part about this that I don't quite get, there's also, okay, so there was a mistake in here in this whole process. I think we're getting really close, to be really honest. There's a mistake around this zero. There is no zero in this area. And I'm curious, like if I actually just manually change it, whether this is going to actually, like, I don't want to have to manually do it because it introduces like an error here, but it just would be nice to see it normalize, which I have seen before. I'm looking for the min max, and I can't remember if it works here, but if I change this to 1205, let's say, see that? So we get, it's not, again, it may not be perfect, but what we get is what would look to me like an actual file. It might be this. It's the fact that there's some, whatever I did somewhere along the lines, maybe with the clipping, I ended up introducing these black bars, which are zero, which are null, like they're no data. And, I probably didn't set something up but okay. So, the reason I'm kind of excited is because what I have here is the furthest I've gotten in this process. And what I have is, I'm still not confident, but what I have is a file that has two properly projected TIFFs, low res and high res, sitting together, aligned with with essentially the same range. Now we're going to just see what happens if we actually merge these two together. And this is either will work and we'll be like pretty much done and just have to sort of clean this up, or it won't work and then we'll be right back where we were. Okay, so we're trying the LiDAR reprojected and we're trying clip mass, which I should have renamed, and we don't have to change anything. We should just run it. Okay. Cool. So we have that merged file, but we have the zero is wrong. 1205. Okay. So this was a similar problem that I was having. See that? So what we got is we projected the resolution of the files to the low res instead of high res. So what we got is like, hey, that looks cool. We actually have more than we have here. Well, we don't actually. That's not true. Oh, we didn't do it. I mean, we did do something, but what we didn't really do anything because we just took that other file and projected it to the same resolution as this shitty file. And the end result is we have one file that is crap. But that is at least there's something there, and I have read, that maybe there's something to do with the order, and I didn't really pay attention to the order. So let's see what happened manually when I did it. So if I do LiDAR and clip mask, like, so what I'm kind of hoping for this, like, we're close. It's just, how do you set the resolution to be the high res image, which means that the low res has to fake it, scale up to the high res, and it'll still not be good, but it'll at least fit. I don't know. That didn't do anything different. Okay. So, merging a high res and low res geotiff. I keep getting closer and closer. Okay, so it's possible here is somewhere in this file. Like, look, if we solve this, this is like crack a beer moment for me. Like, what I'm trying to figure out. So let me just rename this one. So this is radar, 30 meters, merged, reprojected, and clipped. Oh, it's funny. It's all the stuff I did to that file. They were basically, we're close. We're really close. It's just these two files have to get merged together. And really, the question is how to, like, okay, so see this. Here and this, right? These are the two, these are the two files. And then what I'm looking at is, if I scroll down, like, see this here? What I'm hoping is that inside of the docs for this, there's something that will help us get the resolution right. And I don't truthfully understand resolution in spatial files, so I'm going to have to figure that part out too. But I think that there's, like, that's actually doable, more than anything else. Okay, so what we need to do is figure out what the right resolution is. We want to remap to this resolution, right? So let's go look through the file and see if we can kind of get a feel for this. So I'm going to write down a few of these things just for myself for a note, okay? So this file is 1537 by 1537. It's float 32, which I know. It is, I don't care about this, I don't think. I don't care about this. I do think I might care about pixel size. So 1002.147.039.687.8093 is what I need. I don't know if I need both of these, but let's grab them just in case. Okay. We know okay. Let's see what we got. Okay, GDAL help general output file name format. Don't care. We don't care name. We got type is already done. Okay. Let's try it. Let's try it. This would be like a Christmas miracle. LiDAR sorcery projected. Radar projected clipped. Input layers. Oh, see, I did something. No. Okay, it's probably going to be right here. Can I not edit this? Come on. Don't tell me I can't. You gotta be kidding me. You tell me I can't. You tell me I can't edit this? What? Are you crazy? I mean, is it these things? Is this it? Okay, maybe it's this. I mean, I don't know now. I don't know now. Where was it? I mean, is that it? Like, it's not letting me. I can't just edit the code. I have to do like this. 1537. Oh, yeah, okay. I'm stupid. 1537. Okay, so it added that flag in the code here, which is fine. So let me run through what I think is happening, and we're gonna find out if it's true. So you have a file, right? Think Photoshop, right? This big file. It's 12,000 by 12,000, but it's covers a huge part of the world. You clip it down to a small area. Now that file is going to be tiny, right? I don't know what it would be. We could look it up, but it's going to be pretty low resolution file. That's why it's pixelated. We have a smaller file that is only 1537 by 1537, but it's of a very small area. So when we're merging them, if it just automatically takes the lower resolution, I don't know why it would, but it does. It is giving us a very tiny file. Basically, that's what that looks like. It's like a tiny file. But now I'm forcing it at 1537 by 1537, which is the smaller file, the higher res file. If it works, we're going to get an image that's going to look, I think, like the higher resolution image. With the lower res will still look low res, but that's okay because it's going to be crappy data. It's just we want to use it for filler. Okay, that's what I think is going to happen. That's what I hope happens. If it happens, I think we're out of the woods. If it doesn't, we're still screwed. Oh my God. Like, I'm assuming that this is like, oh my God. I hope, and maybe I'm dumb about this, I hope that all this is like, I know it's running a, like I saw that it was running a .bat file, but I would just assume that, it can handle, like, I guess I don't know if there's something different about it running in Python versus not, is what I'm trying to get at. I'm just looking for any other commands that match that same syntax. See, like, okay, so for example, in here, it's running OF GTIF, right? So in here, OF format, maybe it's just, oh, you know what? It could be this. Yeah, I'm stupid. It's this. Well, hopefully it's this. Hopefully it's just that. It's just the brackets, because you don't, Yeah, that's just my own stupidity. These have values in brackets, which you're supposed to replace the whole thing. Okay, let's try this again. No. Different error. Could not convert string to float. Okay. Oh. I'm going to post this. I'm going to post this and tag some people that know code and know GIS, and they're going to literally going to make fun of me. It's just referencing, like, their stupid code was, I think, just referencing the X and the Y, but I don't think you needed it. Okay, one more time. Come on. Yes. Okay, well, that worked, but I don't know if it actually worked. Like, something happened. This is so funny. This is so funny. So, like, it worked, which is good. But it basically, it looks like it made an image of like 3 pixels, 4 pixels. So back to the drawing board on that. Okay, but we're getting somewhere. So let me just go back to this. What does it say for is resolution? So I mean, it's just too far. Like it should just be, I guess. Let me just see if I can get an example. Oh, you know what? I should be asking ChatGPT about this. What was I thinking? What was I thinking? I'm gonna have AI help me. QGIS is old. It's gonna know. It even can interpret Python code. Oh, what's advanced data analysis? Is that it? Oh, okay. I'm trying to write or trying to add. Okay, let's start with like what I'm doing, and then I'll go backwards to like the more detail. I'm trying to add a resolution variable slash flag to a GDAL command in Python. The resolution of the output file, I think I need is 157 by 1537 by 1537. Before I do that, I just want to check something because I'm curious, because I remember I have like I don't know if maybe that resolution was wrong. It just like that's low resolution. I just don't know if maybe I missed something. Like if you look at this raster, no, it is 1537 by 1537. Interesting. Okay. Okay, so it is. However, when I run the command in QGIS, I get a image that looks like it has 4 pixels. Can you help me with the correct format? The docs are, I don't know if it can search, are under GDAL under merge.py. Okay, let's see what it says. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. So, yeah, I'm wondering, like, if I go into... source reprojected. this is the format that QGIS accepts for GDAL and the GDAL merge.py command. How would I add the pixel output here? Yeah, that's what I did, right? But what was the O? Oh. Okay, I got it. Oh, okay. That shouldn't be. Okay, let's see what it says here. I mean, it's asking, it's putting it like after the output file or input file. Yeah, after the output file. But this is not, and I can't change it. I don't know. I don't know if. QGIS won't let me edit, but places it before, or places it after GTIF before -O. After GTIF and before .O. Does this matter? Can you help me figure out if I edit QGIS or run the command in QGIS? Okay, let's try this one first, and then I'll figure the command line out. Where I'm so focused. I'm gonna run this just to see like if it does what I think it's gonna do, which is the same thing. Yeah. Okay. So Okay, what is it saying to do? It's saying to go processing toolbox, search for GDAL. Processing toolbox. In what's the most QGIS together that did nothing? Oh my god. Okay. Going to processing toolbox does nothing. Any ideas? Any ideas? Otherwise, let's see. Otherwise, how difficult is it to? Otherwise, how difficult is it to run this in the system's command line interface? I'm familiar with the Mac dev environment or Mac terminal environment, but I've never used Windows for this. Okay, let's see what this genius does. Okay, view panels toolbox. Okay, well, maybe it's simpler than I think. What did it say? Windows. View panels toolbox. View panels. God. Processing toolbox? Oh, it's this thing. Stupid. Okay. So what did it want me to do originally? Search for GDAL. Find the GDAL OGR section. Locate, execute SQL. Okay, sure. GDAL. There's no such thing. Okay, let's try the command line. What is it? Command? This is getting rough. Oh, I don't know where the GDAL. Where would my GDAL directory be? It's installed via QGIS. Well, I didn't. That's not true. Let's just say default. Yes. Okay. Cool. That's what I did. Okay. Let's see if that is it. Well, that's not how that works. Okay. Oh, we're not on a Mac. Oops. What is it? DIR on Windows? Okay. I don't think this is Python. I think this is .bat. Okay, we're gonna try this. Okay, I found it in OSGeo 4W. Okay, cool. Yeah, got that. You run your GDAL merge command. Okay, cool. Okay. Give me. Let's do, because we don't want to know, like, these are basically temporary files. So what happens is when we do this, it knows the location. So we're going to grab all that. And I'll just say, I'll just have ChatGPT like rewrite it. Rewrite this command coming from QGIS to the proper format to use GDAL merge.bat and the output resolution I asked for. Oh, it's going to ask me for the command. Come on. No. No. Rewrite this command. Okay. Oh, it wants me to go to the bin file. A good thing I didn't mention that before. Oh, I'm already there. Anyone want to have prediction? What do you think? Because, okay, so, first of all, we should change the output. Okay, so let's go back here and let's change the output because I don't know, like, it'll be hard to get that in. Let's just change it to, we'll change it to my drive, active, Cathedral, working, QGIS layers, okay? And we're going to call it perfect merged AOI for good karma. Okay, so let's get that one. I mean, we could do it, but let's just let ChatGPT do his thing. Wrong directory. Can you rewrite with this? Okay, so we're merging float 32 to GeoTIFF with that resolution, whatever the flags are, and we're putting it in there. Okay, let's find out. Let's hope and pray. I'm dying right now. I get this. Solve that. I'm in the right directory, but I probably don't see that, right? Okay, I'm in the right directory, but I don't see gdal.merge.bat. Does QGIS install it to a default location in new versions? No, I know how to do that. Oh, no. Sure, can I search via command line? Okay. That didn't do it what I wanted at all, right? Take some time. No, that's not what I wanted. I mean, I don't suppose you would find it in here, right? GDAL merge .bat. No, I mean, I would just never. We're going off the deep end here. What the hell is this? That launches the freaking Microsoft Store? Is that like, but how is it running it? Like, okay. If I was like, I'm barely competent at it, like I'm barely even useful at this at all, but I don't really quite understand. I feel like I don't, like, if this is Python, this would be calling like a .py. It's calling .bat, and I don't know what, I mean, that's old. I just don't understand. Like, I feel like I'm kind of merging two things, you know? Is it possible that do I need Python installed for this? Okay. No. Do I need it to run GDAL merge? Okay. How can I see where QGIS is running Python, running GDAL merge from? Okay, let's try that one. So what is the, I want the view panels log message. Is a view panels log message, okay. Can I just run this in the Python console? Just run this code in the Python console. Okay, I was trying to see if I could run, like, why can't I just run? Oh. Okay. I get this. Okay. It's like the hunt for Carmen Sandiego here. Okay, so see. Where is gdal.merge? Program files, go away. Program files, QGIS. Okay. Interesting. Apps, GDAL. Nope. GDAL merge. Apps, QGIS, bin. Nope. Apps. Look. all these executable. What about GDAL merge? Warp, execute, everything but GDAL merge. Okay. It found, oh, here we go. Okay, I found it. That's interesting. Okay, I found it in, how do you open the, okay. I found it in here. Perfect. Okay. I mean, do we really think this will work? I'm almost sure it won't. Okay. Like, I could swear to you is what I was thinking was happening. I get this. Yeah, exactly. The plot thickens. Okay, I don't think this is gonna work, so I'm gonna just try it. But it's almost like, no. Okay, add a path Python to add Python. No luck on first. Okay, sure. This sounds a little ridiculous. I feel like I'm starting to get like a bit of a feeling for what's happening. But I'm just gonna stick to this. And then I can do like a post-mortem. Add the Python directory and the scripts directory. Okay, sure. Okay. Cool. So we've got those two in. We're going to go OK. We're going to restart the command prompt. Running your meet. Okay, so we want to run it here, right? Okay, so let's do this again really quick. So we know this is just going to get us. Oh, great. Okay, I mean, this seems crazy what I'm doing anyway, like running this here, and those temporary files are going to be gone. I can almost guarantee it. And I mean, okay. Let me brainstorm this and think about it, and then I think I'm going to have to go on to another path because I've been at this for 2 hours and there's no end in sight. So my guess is that QGIS is running this version of GDAL with this bat file that's calling a Python script. So it's literally just like it's basically just passing on the Python script because, GDAL is .py, right? Like I don't know if there's another version of GDAL, but like my guess is like there's some embedded version of Python inside of QGIS and it's running it. Okay. Now, when I run the command, it's running, but the flagging system, whatever I'm trying to do, is not working, or it's working incorrectly. It's giving the wrong output. That's why I was getting the 4 pixel thing. I mean, if I just simply bypass all this and install Python on my Mac and just run this, I feel like it's going to be fine. But what's happening in QGIS, I don't know. So I'm just going to go back to the original problem. Let's go back to the original problem. I run the GDAL merge command in QGIS with 2 files. One is low resolution, which, I probably lost everything in QGIS because, it's unbelievable how, even though I launched QGIS, literally an hour ago, it doesn't want to actually keep it in memory. I think this is the old version. All right, like my project's gone. Yeah, it's all gone. So I'd have to do all that back. Okay. Yeah, I definitely can't not do this on a stream. So let me think through here. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll take a break. I would like to try to go to 6 because I've been committing to do that. So I'm going to take a break, grab a coffee, and just sort of rethink this. When I come back, what we're going to do is either we're going to get the Mac out and just do this on the side, and I'll just keep my stream going and just chat through it instead of streaming from the Mac, or we're going to find something else to do, either back in Blender or, some other project or some other task to do. I'm very much blocked on this, though, in terms of, bringing this into these 3D environments. So I do have to get it solved. I just don't think I should try to do it here on the stream. So I'll be back in a second, and we'll keep going with something. All right, I got audio. Against my better judgment, I'm going to push on because I have one more idea. And if this doesn't work, I've already reached out for help. I've already asked for some help from someone that knows this stuff. I love to figure this stuff out my own, but I'm really putting myself in a pretty dumb position here with how much work I'm doing to get this right. And the issue that I think I can do, like, no one's following this, so I don't know why I would re-explain it, but I'm just trying to merge some files together in QGIS. So I'm going to shut up unless someone comes in and asks a question. I'm mostly just going to shut up and solve this until I can get it the way I want it. So yeah, I might, if I'm talking, it's just to, it's just to sort of keep myself sane. Okay, all right. My desperate cries for help have been answered by a former co-worker and friend that I don't get to chat with enough, who's helped me with these things before. And, my stubbornness wants to solve this, but I don't. I just don't have the technical skill to do it. So For the last half an hour of the stream, I'm going to do something a little different. I'm just going to work on the data because I think the same process that I'm going to apply to sort of add some detail to this data is going to be applicable once I actually have the new data set in. So I'll just sort of set up a node tree and kind of see how this ends up looking, and that way I can adapt this pretty easily once we get going. So this is Gaia, and I'm also fairly new to Gaia, so this is like a stream. This is like a stream of me using software that I'm not really good at. But I've sort of figured out a little bit of Gaia, and I'll just sort of work through some of these things. What I want to do, it's a bunch of stuff with this, but the first one is I want to see if Gaia can do anything about this sort of stretched texture part. Again, when you work with vertical data, it really does cause a lot of issues. And I feel like I know Gaia's got some stuff in the toolbox, and I want to kind of see if maybe any of these tools will actually start to solve the problem. So I'm going to just sort of, I'm going to look at some of the settings, and some of these things I don't really know exactly how they work, so I'll be kind of testing them to see how they actually go. Oh, I see. Okay, so yeah, so I'm just looking through these settings. This is interesting. It does, so yeah, like, so this is the stratify. So I'm just trying different erosion out. I'm just seeing if there's anything that will really get this is really what I need. You can just see what the difference is between these two. So in one hand, this does actually help. You can see that the tops of these things sort of round out, and we do get a little more detail. But I just was sort of looking at what these do. And in particular, if there was anything that there was looking to see if there was anything that also sort of created. Yeah, this is interesting. I don't know the difference between these two. Oh, interesting. This is sort of just creating like natural strata in the scene, but it doesn't seem to do a good job of handling That's interesting. I wanted to see if there's anything in here. Handling vertical terrain. Gaia. See if there's anything out there. This is just a cool modifier. Just I'm just playing around with some stuff, but this one's really cool. If you ever need to make like kind of those, we have them in Banff. Rundle is like this, and also in Boulder, Colorado, you get these sort of like really cool. You can actually see what it's doing, right? It's sort of just adjusting. You know, you can drop A is looks like probably oh that I guess A is that side. I'm not really sure what A is doing exactly. I need to get like, you know, get the oh, interesting. So I'm just curious now, really. What did it say? Warp after apex. I'm just curious what this does. They get me with that, like it creates, you know, it gets me with that. It creates really interesting effects. I don't know where warp is. Oh, I see. Oh, that's really cool. I get it. So you're just you're sort of creating like a little swirl kind of effect. You just, yeah, really create some really interesting effects with this. Not what we were trying to do, but just curious. Let me just say creating buttes in Gaia. I just wonder if I wonder if you know the way that like I know like creatively how I want to do this, right? What I really want to do is I want to mask out the high elevation of this scene. And I want somehow Gaia to like recreate stratified buttes, basically. They're like the Cathedral rock formations, using procedural tools with the same exact, like, you know what I mean? Like the elevations of these are correct because this is just a height map. So if you look across the terrain, you get everything is the right elevation and the fall off is close. The problem is this is not how these things look, right? They're stratified, like you can see them in here. And I was able to get some of this by sort of adding some fake texture in. But the truth is, if you look really closely at the photos, you see that, you kind of, it's such a weird rock formation because it is fairly flat with just a lot of these crevices. And honestly, there's really not a lot of like it's more of the material. So maybe it's just a matter of getting the shape right, which it just looks like it's probably a little bit. And it's maybe just adding a bunch of, like maybe it's just adding a bunch of, kind of just erosion and seeing if it will break it. So I have some time here. We've got maybe 10 minutes. So I'm just going to apply some different erosion and just kind of see what works, right? So that's soil. We don't want that. I'm just curious what some of these will do, though. Yeah, okay, it's just, that's nothing worth doing there. Okay, I'm curious what hydrology does. This is usually pretty intense. So that's just applying kind of pretty basic, just like the raw water's just falling over the terrain, because there's not a lot of detail there already. We've seen erosion already. So erosion kind of does. There's a lot of options in erosion. So but I don't think that's really what we want. I mean, it adds a bit of detail. It's interesting. I haven't used the wizard. What are Hawaii furrows? Pitted surface. Oh, interesting. Just interesting to see what what these are doing. So, yeah, it's interesting. There's got to be. Yeah, just I'm looking at some stuff like it's just an unfortunate limitation of like how this terrain data is created. It doesn't handle it very well when we're in, a situation where it's completely vertical. Um, it's yeah, it doesn't like it. it's interesting to see what it does, right? Like you go from here to here to here. You start to get detail, especially down here. That's definitely helpful. Like if you look at this versus that, it's subtle, but you get some detail. But then up here, you kind of create a bit of a problem because it really does affect the terrain. Whereas like these are very vertical, these kind of get eroded. And ultimately, I think you probably want to maintain the shape and probably go into like something like Unreal Engine and actually stack, some assets to kind of line up with it. Is what my gut's telling me, that like some nanite assets like with cliff faces, kind of rocking all around and sort of stacking them together to make the vertical face is probably the only way to go. Just notoriously, like vertical terrain is tough. Maybe we can adjust something with the texture to kind of make it look like I did in Blender. This is the photo. You can see there's obviously the banding really helps with this. There is, very little, like you kind of have this, then all of a sudden you have a difference, and this, there's generally like consistent patterns, but you can see where it kind of breaks up. Big open like pieces that have cut off, the kind of the crevice in here. And I got some of that in Blender. I actually I sculpted a lot of it, if I remember. So, in Blend, like, okay, so here it is. Here it is in World Creator. I did apply some things, so there was a little bit of detail added, which is nice. And I do think you can get that detail in this terrain. It's not too bad. But in the final render, this is what I got. It's not bad, but there's not a lot of detail. I mean, I think I just carved this, and that's something I can get out of Blender and bring into Unreal. It's just wish that I could kind of apply it in a way that would make sense, like would be actually consistent with how this would have been formed. So I'll do some research tonight. I've got a call here soon to try to get some help with the QGIS stuff. So hopefully I'll have it all solved by tomorrow, and then tomorrow can be a much, much better stream in terms of actually doing something fun and exciting. So fun and exciting. Thanks for tuning in. It's 6 o'clock, so we'll end the stream, and I'll be back at it tomorrow morning.